I I have a suspicion that what is going on is some distinction about the kind of nature of the universe that we are in. When I was a kid, I read both books about physics and our normal post-enlightenment modernist way of understanding our own place in the universe, and I read Blavatsky and the Veda and other books, and I realized that there seem to be two fundamentally different conceptions about the nature of the reality that we find ourselves being thrown in. And one is that we are basically in a machine. We are part of the machine, and there is nothing that is not part of the machine. And that's basically the physicalist idea, that there is a causally closed lowest layer that is entirely mechanical, over which everything else emerges, without any magic ever happening. And in this world, it's pretty hard to explain miracles. And the existence of our consciousness seems to be somewhat close to a miracle, right? And if we would perceive magical stuff, like if you're able to burn a black cat, and as a result we perceive a new kind of a celestial event, this kind of symbolic interaction would also what classifies as a miracle, because it cannot easily be explained by some causal interaction on some causally closed lowest layer that doesn't care about symbols, right? And the other explanation that we could be in, that the one that is implied by Castaneda's worldview and so on, is that we are living in a dream, that magic is possible, and that the reason why miracles are so rare is the result of the way in which we are dreaming the dream. Right, so all the causal structure that seems to be so regular, the regularity of physics and so on in this worldview, is explained by features in which the dream is happening. And later on, as I tried to think about these worldviews and make a distinction about them, I did notice that indeed I am living clearly in a dream. There's lots of evidence that I'm living in a dream, because the features of my dream are malleable. It's very much like a lucid dream at night. I can change the way that a face looks like to me. I can change my memories over the past. I can change my identity. I can change aspects of my consciousness in a pretty fundamental sense. So I am clearly living in the dream. But the regularity in the dream can be explained by there being a parent universe in which there is some kind of machinery that is producing the dream. And the machinery that is producing the dream is the brain of a primate in a physical universe. And in this way, I can fit it all together. And I can explain consciousness as a dream property that cannot be explained physically. Like neurons cannot experience anything. Consciousness only exists as if. Neurons can do stuff as if. Like they can produce representations that only exist as if. In the same way as the stuff in the computer game is only as if. Right? It's virtual. It's only existing as a projection. And I think that consciousness is a projection. It's a representational property of a system that is aware of the fact that it's aware. And this is a crucial thing about it that has to do with this hard problem. And that is not readily apparent when you think what you see as physics and the physical universe. And it could be that you don't perceive this as so much as a problem, because you have committed yourself relatively early to the insight that you're living in some kind of dream. And in this dream, you can dream about vibrations that produce phenomena in biological systems and that are intrinsically related to consciousness, right? You experience yourself in this dream. You experience that everything is consciousness in the world. Everything that you touch is representational. And I think that's true, because we actually are living in that dream. And physics is really talking about another universe that we can never touch. That can only be described as mathematics. And my task is to explain stuff in this outside reality that we can never touch, that we can never be in, using mathematical languages.